You may have noticed there's a problem with our button here. It works for everybody. That means at any time anyone can walk up to my truck and open the tonneau cover and take whatever's in there, which I obviously do not want. So I have to figure out a way to disable it, and if you remember from the beginning of the video, that was phase 2 of the build. So next thing we got to do is tie it into the locking system. Unfortunately, there's nothing inside of the truck that's wired such that when the doors are unlocked, there's voltage, and when the doors are locked, there isn't, so I have to make something. So I've taken the liberty of removing the door panel, the inner door panel, before starting filming, and I have this little micro switch. Depending on how you wire this, it can either be wired normally open or normally closed. There's a small diagram on the side of it that tells you how to wire it for each. And it took me a while to figure this out, but you can see I've made some marks right here on the door. I'm going to have to fabricate a bracket to mount it exactly here. And as you can see, when I turn the latch mechanism here, I go just far enough you can hear the micro switch clicking. So now it's closed when the doors are locked, and now it's open when the doors are open. So I guess we're actually going to do normally closed. Sorry. Yeah, normally closed. So now the switch will actually be open when the doors are locked, and now the doors will be unlocked and the switch will be closed. So now I have to fabricate a bracket for this and install it on the door. There's not much clearance at this point for the screws to go through because the window has to slide down behind there, but I'm going to figure it out. Remember I said there's not much clearance between the glass and the back of that inner door panel? Looks like those screws have about at least ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch before it reaches the glass. If you move the glass like going over a bump or something, it gets a little closer, but I don't think it'll ever touch. I just have to remember that those screws are sticking out there if I ever decide to replace the window motor again. For the window motor on this one, you have to remove the entire side glass, but it's not too bad. Alright, that should do it. Surprised I was able to do that without cutting into the bracket for this. But after quite a bit of thinking and planning, I figured out how to get this to work with this latching mechanism. So as I said before, now this is in the unlocked position and the button is released. So this is when I want power to go to the trunk, which means it's going to be, based on this, the red wire is normally closed. So that's the wire that's making contact now. And then when the switch is depressed, that opens it. And now the red wire does not have power. So that's the way to go. Now we got to do the electrical part of the system.
Already on.
It's saying already on that I just turned it on. Sounds like old lady on. Okay, so with the button pressed down, we have continuity. Now that it's open, and then if I latch it, no continuity. Now that it's latched, the blue wire has continuity, so we're not going to use that wire. But, see, black wire to red wire, no continuity until I open it. Now we have continuity, now that it's unlocked. Yeah, over range.
It's about to enter standing state.
Yeah, it's about to enter standing state. Just say off. As you can see, I've run a couple wires through the grommet that connects the door to the chassis, or to the cab. And I'm going to put some bullet connectors on here. Again, I could solder this, but just in case I have to take this apart at some future point, I'd rather be able to disconnect it. These two red wires are going to eventually go underneath the truck and pick up the power connectors there. And everything else. Very much like for these not to rattle, so I'm going to zip tie them. Okay, wiring is complete. Connected everything here, run it through the grommet and down through the fender, out the bottom. So now it's time to put the door back together. Put the vapor barrier back. Okay, cut the line underneath the truck that goes to the button in the back. And here are the two wires that come from the door from our momentary switch. I'm going to put some shrink tubing. Okay, putting the fuse back. Hopefully this doesn't blow it. Alright, if I did this correctly, when I unlock the truck, the LED should come on. Hey, look at that. When I unlock the rest of the doors, stays on, and when I lock it again, it goes off. The button does nothing, and then when I unlock it, the button should release. Nice. As you saw earlier, from our fuse box here, there's a power wire coming out with a fuse on it, and the wire is black. I think it's black because I bought this sealed weatherproof kit and it had black wire. That's what they had for sale, and I believe that wire changes over to red once that fused link that I purchased ends, or the wiring in it ends, and it continues down the line. It goes all the way underneath the truck and continues all the way along here until it comes up in this crack between the bed, and then goes through the tonneau cover inside the flocking, and then goes all the way to the end here where we picked it up to power the button and to pop the latches on the back. So when I spliced into that to add the micro switch inside the doors here, it's on the lock, I spliced into the wrong wire. So if you look underneath, this is the wire right here, this, and inside is a red wire, which is why I was confused, and because it's over here, I didn't bother to check it. I was rushing, and I made a mistake. Instead, I cut up here, as you can see, we have some wires hanging down here, and this is my reverse camera. And I should have known it was there because I'm the one that ran that wire, but that's the black wire I saw, and the second that I cut into it, I realized I'd cut into the wrong wire because there are two main wires in there. The red one is tied into the reverse light, which kicks on the reverse camera whenever I shift into reverse. And the yellow one is our RCA connector, video into the back of the head unit so I can see something on the camera. What looks like a third wire hanging out there is actually shielding that wraps around that video cable. So there's both a foil that goes around it and a set of wires that are wrapping radially all the way around that wire to protect it from EMF, from other frequencies interfering with the video signal. And that seems pretty necessary given that these wires are extremely thin gauge. To strip them, I couldn't even use my wire stripper here. I had to use an X-Acto because the wires inside are so narrow. I'm going to try and solder these things back together, and hopefully that's enough where I get a decent quality video signal by the end. So let's get to it. Wrapped in some foil tape for insulation. And we have to reattach the insulating braid. So to get enough slack in that wire, I had to pull out the dash and pull this guy, pull it back through the firewall, and get enough slack to reconnect those two ends. So now it's time to see if all that soldering work was worth the effort. Okay, if I put it in reverse, it should come on now. Bullseye! Now that my reverse camera is repaired, it's time to go to phase 3 of the install. This last one, you remember there's no more light at the top here. We're gonna splice into these wires all the way at the end here. And these are the same 2 wires that are powering the poppers on the tonneau cover, so we're just gonna splice into them. We're not gonna cut into them and disconnect them or anything. And somehow I have to rig up another one of those little Microswitches over here so that when the hatch is open, then it triggers the light, and when it's closed, it shuts it off. Before I fully open this Velcro that I bought, I want to make sure it actually can adhere to this flocking mouse fur stuff that they have on the inside of the tonneau cover. And there's a soft side we're not going to use. We want the side with the hooks in it. So I'm going to test it right now and see if I need to return it to Amazon or not. I think that's pretty good. If it can hold that weight, that should be exactly what we need. So now to begin. See, I got smart, put down the fuzzy side of the Velcro on the table, make my job easier. The bed lights are on, and if I lock the truck, they shut off. That way it will not drain the battery Or if I'm driving around with a load that requires the tonneau cover to be open, I can just drive off and the truck locks as soon as you put it in drive or reverse and start moving. So it'll shut off the lights in the bed and I won't be driving around blinding drivers at night if I'm driving with the tonneau open. And when I unlock it, they come back on. So it's triggered both by the tonneau being open and by the doors being unlocked. Both conditions have to be satisfied for the lights to go on, because it goes through 2 micro switches for that to happen. So both have to be in the correct position. Both micro switches have to be in the open position. Unfortunately, while I was mounting the micro switch on the inside of the tonneau cover over here, I had to remove a bracket to mount it. You saw me drilling on that bracket and mounting the micro switch to it. There's just no access because the tonneau cover rolls over the edge here. And I completely didn't realize that the outside of the tonneau cover, although there's flocking all the way down to the edge, this very last corner is pretty sharp and has no flocking on it. So it's pretty sharp and scratched the surface when the tonneau cover was moving around. Didn't even know I was doing it. But I'm gonna see what, if anything, can be polished out. Just using some Meguiar's 110 Ultra Pro Speed compound. It's basically the most aggressive polishing compound I could find, but even this isn't that aggressive because it polishes down to a finer compound as you use it. It's really difficult to sand through the clear coat all the way to the base coat, even with a DA polisher. Okay, let's see. It's not gone, but it's a lot better. Let's see how it looks. One little spot there that maybe could use some more polish. Better. I think you and I are going to be the only ones that notice this here once the tonneau cover is closed. The whole truck really needs a cleaning, but I'm just going to clean off the tonneau and call it a day. So this is the before lighting. This is what it looks like inside the truck bed. You can see there's a light up here. I already swapped it to an LED bulb, which definitely helps, but it's a single light source. It's okay. It's enough at night to see inside the bed, but it gets a little dark towards the front of it. And it doesn't come on automatically. There's a little switch on the side here. It just turns off and on. So you have to remember to shut it off so you don't drain the battery. And this is what it looks like now. First of all, the button doesn't open when you press it. unless the truck is unlocked. And here is what the lighting looks like. So it illuminates even all the way out here. You can see, even though this is far beyond the end of the bed, which is good, it's also visible from down the street. So in case I'm unloading late at night, there's going to be some visibility if a car's coming around the corner. It's good. It's not so bright that it's blinding, but it's plenty of light to see what's in the bed. If something falls to the front of the bed and I have to go grab it, there's nice illumination the whole way around. And the lights shut off when the bed gets shut. All right, let's recap. I drilled a hole in the tonneau cover. I blew the fuse twice by shorting the power going to the button at the back of the tonneau cover. I accidentally cut the cable going to our reverse camera, and I scratched the side of my truck by manipulating the tonneau cover and moving it around. You see, other YouTube channels, they fix cars, but here on Gone Rogue Garage, we break cars and then fix them again. And then break them again and fix them again and break them again and fix them again.